Mike, is it true that you are part of a Guinness Book of World Records designation?
Almost. It's
Okay.
it's actually part of Record Setter. So recordsetter.com has its its own world records, and I have a world record for the most amount of jumping photos ever taken. So I have thousands of photographs of people jumping, just to jump. It's sort of like a thing. And on Flickr, you can find an entire community now. We have over 25,000 people that are part of the jumping project, where people will shoot photographs of people jumping.
And how did you get involved with that? That's interesting.
Just my passion for shooting photos. So like way back in the day when I was much younger, we used to do this thing called free running, which has now become what's known as parkour, right? Where people are, kind of jumping over obstacles or doing a spin or doing a flip over something. So I used to do a lot of jumping stuff like that myself. And when I got into photography, it was always like, oh, I don't know. So in the early days of Flickr, I was just fascinated by these jump shots. And so I kind of got involved and started shooting my own jump shots. And every time I had some friends over or a group, we'd do a jump shot. And so ultimately, I just became like the #1 of this whole group, and submitted my record to Record Setter. And what was really cool is they actually published a full Record Setter book last year, and I actually got included in the book with my world record.
So in part of the videos that I watched, your collage of 2010, 2011 travels, I noticed that when you'd meet up with people, you would do these jump shots.
Yeah.
And so what are some tips you could tell other people if they wanted to do jump shots? Do you get how much of a running start are they getting?
Well, you want to jump in place, I find, because that's where your focus is on your camera. And I shoot with the digital SLR, so I'm always shooting like a couple frames. And so yeah, you basically say jump, and you get your focus locked, and you say jump. And if you hold your camera a little bit lower, you'll get that perspective shift where it looks like the jump is a little bit higher, which I find fascinating. I've set up my own jump shots where I'm like trying to jump over a landmark or a physical thing way in the background, and I just have to like get the right thing and jump over it so it looks like I'm in the sky. But the coolest thing about a jump shot is you really can't do a jump shot in a bad mood. And I feel like when you do a jump shot, the person, because they're jumping, naturally becomes like joyous or happy, or just you can't do something else in that moment. You're just jumping in that moment, and it's just for the pleasure of jumping.
Interesting. There's no miserable jumpers.
Yeah.
So how did you find out about the Flickr group? You just went on Flickr and you just became part of it?
Yeah, back in the early days of Flickr, it was like, wow, it's like, the internet kind of evolves, and like the idea of like, oh, I'm going to share my photos and they're just going to be there for people to see was sort of this new idea. Before that, it was sort of like, oh, it's mine, and it's copyrighted and I have it, but I don't want to share it. And Flickr kind of became this sharing community where people upload their photos, and you can favorite photos, and you can make groups, and yeah, so ended up in this Flickr group, and yeah.
And do you get together and go on excursions with some of the LA-based people, or even across the country?
Yeah, there's what's called photo walking, which is sort of like photographers will get together and we'll all go photo walking, where you just shoot all together and shoot cool stuff. And I've gone on a couple of different photo walks where we've all met down at the beach, and we've just gone shot the Santa Monica Pier or stuff like that.